Hey, it was Groovy. What happened news? I'm Xavier Lamont. Today's topic is truth. What is truth really about? Like, what does truth mean? And what obligation does a news source have for telling the truth? Because motherfuckers be lying, y'all. They be lying like you can see it, like straight line. I'm gonna give you an example. How about
The
this?
Ahli hospital. You said that you're sure that actually it wasn't the Israelis who did that.
I said it was our initial assessment based on the information that is available to us. And let me just say, I don't want to play media critic here, but I will say that I do think that this event was a reminder of that everyone, this includes officials in government, but officials in government and everyone that watches this conflict, that commentates on it, it would be wise for all of us to take a beat and pause and collect all the information before choosing to decide what we believe and what we don't. I saw a number of reports from the very early days that took Hamas's word at face value, the word of a terrorist organization. I don't mind people treating our claims skeptically. Everyone is right to do that. We stand up here every day and defend them. But I would hope that everyone who is watching what's happening would not take claims from a terrorist organization at face value.
And that's my question, sorry. It's precisely because of that in the region, as you know, there's mistrust of what the Israelis say, and actually the U.S. position as well, because there are previous administrations that took us to war in Iraq on a lie that was defended on a very high level, including behind this podium. This is why people are cynical when you hear something. We might not know the truth, but would the United States support an international investigation? That's
I do not believe that is appropriate at this time. The Israeli government has released a great deal of evidence to support their contention that this was a misfire rocket attack from inside Gaza that unfortunately landed on this hospital and killed, it looks like, hundreds of civilians. The U.S. government is conducting its own assessment. And I would just say, from Hamas's side, we've seen a claim backed up by zero evidence. And it is unfortunate that a lot of people believe a claim from a terrorist organization in absence
Now
of
look,
them having...
I am not siding with anybody. Hold up, I'm gonna pause this right here, and I'm gonna blow this spot up right here because this is what you need to see. After all that you just heard, you need to see this. But just watch this dude try to explain the difference between what he said about this and what he said about that. And remember how the news media covers both of these events.
Being honest about the fact that there have been civilian casualties and that there likely will be more is being honest, because that's what war is. It's brutal, it's ugly, it's messy. I've said that before. The president also said that yesterday. Doesn't mean we have to like it.
That was National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby, basically telling journalists to grow up. War is dirty, war is messy, good people die, but that's life. What do you want me to do about it, right? Now compare that to how Kirby talked about civilian deaths in Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
It's hard to look at what he's doing in Ukraine, what his forces are doing in Ukraine, and think that any ethical, moral individual could justify that. It's difficult to look at the It's difficult to look at some of the images and imagine that any well-thinking, serious, mature leader would do that.
So the killing of Ukrainian civilians brings John Kirby to tears. Fine, right? Got no problem with that. But when Palestinians are killed by a US ally, meh. These things happen. People die. It's war.
These questions are valid.
Places in Ukraine, you very quickly will say what you think is happening in that bombing, right? Why do you need to assess every single strike?
Those have been after the result of internal determinations here at the State Department.
I would say you've come out much more quickly than that. Given the amount of time that the bombing has been going on in Gaza, you've had enough time. You've had more time than in some cases.
We have not seen Russians warning civilians to vacate apartment buildings when they launch them. We've seen evidence in Russia's case of deliberately targeting civilian infrastructure.
So you have made some kind of assessment.
I'm saying that's the difference in the situation, facts that we haven't seen here.
But the fact that you have made a determination, because what you just said, Simon, is that you made a determination that Russia deliberately targeted civilians, and you have made a determination in this case that Israel is not deliberately doing that. I'm sorry, I don't see. There's no other way to read what you.
We were able to show and make the determination in the case of Russia that they were intentionally targeting civilian infrastructure. We have not come to that conclusion here.
With Israel.
With Israel, yeah.
Okay, so that means that you have thus far determined that Israel is complying with the laws of war.
It does not mean that. It means that we have not conducted. Again, Matt, I know you want me to make a claim that usually is at the end of a formal legal process, and I'm not able to do that.
I don't think that's correct at all. And in fact, it's exactly as Simon said. You guys are very quick off the bat to accuse Russia of, and probably correctly, of committing war crimes and doing that kind of thing. But in this case, and it's now 2.5 weeks in, you guys are saying you guys won't say whether you will make a determination even though many others have. So, or many others have weighed in, either on the yes, they are complying, or no, they are not complying.
I'm saying
and so I think that what the world is looking for is a clear statement from you guys, whether you think that they are heeding your advice. And it sounds to me as though you're saying, yes, they are. But when you're pressed on that, you won't give an answer.
Again, we believe they are listening to our advice, but I cannot make the formal. I just cannot make the formal determination when it comes to every one of the strikes that's been launched.
You don't need to have a side in this to want a ceasefire. Innocent people are being bombed daily. Innocent people have been hurt on both sides, and everybody wants it to stop. But with language like this and just excusing violence like this coming directly from the White House is problematic. I'll let this brother break it down.
People who come to lecture us about human rights and democracy and international law are the ones who are doing this. The White House spokesperson, Karine Jean-Pierre, said that calls for a ceasefire for Gaza are repugnant. What kind of world do we live in where calling for a ceasefire is repugnant? These people worship war. They worship death. They want us to be nice victims. Yeah. They want us to be polite. They don't like it when we're angry. I get messages saying, oh, you know, you should present yourselves better. You won't win support if you're angry. What support did we win for all these years? All these years of advocacy, of meetings, of lectures, of speeches, of meeting with politicians. Not one European politician objected to cutting food and water and electricity from children. Not one. Not one Arab country of those regimes run by traitors withdrew their ambassadors from Israel or closed their embassies with Israel. People come to us for analysis. I don't know how to analyze this. I don't know what to say to people. Our hearts are broken. And this is a world that lectures us about human rights and democracy. I don't know how to face you and to face people in Gaza. And I don't know how to say to you that I'm sorry we failed.
We're going to end today's show on a sad note. First off, we want to say goodbye to legendary actor John Shaft. Richard Roundtree passed away over the weekend. Many loved him. I was a big fan. On a more personal note, Jonathan Giuseppe, a comedian and a personal friend of mine who fought cancer for a very long time, passed away the other day. And I want to say your energy, your brightness, and the spirit and love that you brought every day in your fight will never be forgotten. You were loved. You will be missed. That's today's show. That's today's show. We definitely appreciate your likes, your shares, your DMs, your follows, your hearts, your stars, your snaps, everything that you can do to help us make this show a thing. You know how this works.